Well, FIFA does it again. 2 injuries for Real Madrid in 2 days, and 9 injuries in total in Real Madrid first squad. We'll start the show right now. Muy buena mi gente, aquí nos encontramos nuevamente en otro programa de fútbol con Bamba.
Dentro del área, golpea Petit, Zidane y gol. Ha marcado Zidane el 1-0 para Francia.
Welcome everybody, and here we go. This is actually Football con Bamba, and yes, I do not bear good news for Real Madrid fans. And the news is that Vinicius Jr. in this game against Colombia today is an international and World Cup qualification. It could not come in the worst time. And the worst timing is that Vinicius was coming back and recovering from an injury that had him for several weeks, who was his first time getting injured. And then suddenly he was finally getting back to his rhythm. You saw him for like the first 2 games that he came back very cautious, not doing too much sprints. It looked like mentally he was trying to avoid to fall back again to his injury. It comes out to be that Valencia this last weekend, when the victory, he had 2 goals. He finally was showing already the attitude about being the speedster that he is. He was showing off that and had 2 great goals and on a great assistance also in the game. So we were finally starting to feel comfortable that Vinicius was coming back to his perfect form and coming back again to be the superstar that he is in Real Madrid. However, he goes to FIFA with his national team of Brazil. Today in the game, for the first 30 minutes, he actually assisted for the first goal that Martinelli actually scored. He was showing off a little bit about his speed. He was looking good. He was starting a great first half of Brazil's national team. And then suddenly on one of the sprints that he did, he just falls down by himself. He holds back the back of his thigh. And by going to the corners and going to the bench, it did not look good. His facial expression mentioning conversations with the doctor didn't seem like it was very positive. And of course, there's people who dedicate themselves to read lips and everything, and has come up with a couple ideas about what might have been said, and it was very negative about everything that they come up with, the perception of it. And what is expected? Well, Brazil is trying to say preliminary that before they've done an MRI or a study with x-rays or anything on it, they're estimating that this will confirm that he would not play against Argentina this next Tuesday, which is one of the biggest matches in South America. And if you tell me, it was one of the games that I think Vinicius really wanted to be part of. So it looks like, as the first preliminary results, it's going to probably be, as a rough estimation, that it's going to be at least a month for Vinicius, but we will confirm how severe this injury is going to be once they do the MRI officially to him. Now, what's going to happen with Vinicius? Will he stay in South America, or will he go back to Real Madrid and start treating himself with the Real Madrid doctors? That is still yet to be up in the air. We don't know exactly what he wants to do. He probably wants to stay and stick around to see that big game between Brazil and Argentina. He might want to fly back and start treating himself as soon as possible, see if he can not miss that much games of Real Madrid. Now, having that said, that's Vinicius Jr., one of the saddest news that we have currently just right now. And then it came out to be that Brazil lost that match to Colombia 2-1 in the second half. Actually, Colombia came back, and Luis Diaz just scored against Brazil. Now, going and flying a little bit further, we're going to Europe. CAMAVINGA, he was in the final training sessions with his national team of French, and Dembele was actually trying to get a ball, and in the division of the ball, Dembele get a little sloppy, falls down, and with his full force of body, he falls on top of CAMAVINGA's knee. It's accidental, yes, but it came out to be that it cost CAMAVINGA, that at least they're saying between 6 to 8 weeks. So that means CAMAVINGA's out for the remainder of the year, and he will be back for the second half of the season, or at least that's what they're expecting right now, after he fully recovers from this injury on his knee. As I mentioned before, Real Madrid infirmary is starting to rack up a little bit, and we already know we have 2 season ending of Militao and Courtois, that they're still in the recovery purposes, but that's 2 other players. Kepa, Ceballos, and Arda Güler are actually 3 players that it looks like they're going to be until the end of the year also as well. I think Ceballos was projected to probably come back as a best case scenario in December, but we were yet to see exactly how his outcome comes on that. And then it comes out to be that Tchouaméni, Camavinga has been confirmed that they're going to be at least 8 weeks out of Real Madrid. So that will be for the remainder of the season. I mean, for the remainder of the year 2023. And then Vinicius Jr., if they come up with the bad news that they're actually expecting that they're going to be, then that means Vinicius Jr. will also be out for 2024. I mean, for 2023, and then come back in January 2024. And then last but not least, Jude Bellingham is recovering from a shoulder injury. And it's expected that Jude Bellingham next week will be part in the Real Madrid's match as a best case scenario. Worst case scenario, he will be for Naples' UEFA Champions League match. Now, let's talk about a little bit about this. Real Madrid is really upset about all this. They just fired the head of medical staff about 2 weeks ago, and it was because Al-Lagules refalls again in another injury. And this is a young kid that they've been trying to supposedly take him in a slow motion of recovery, and then every time they're starting to give green light, he comes back and he's fall down again in another injury. Now, this has not been positive for the medical staff of Real Madrid, that has been right now claiming that they have the fastest program, that they have the best recovery system, and they have the most money coming inside to recovery for the players. Now, having that said, it comes out to be that this medical staff, who was part of the team for 6 years, he was the boss of the medical staff. He just got laid off from the facility and from Real Madrid. So we'll see exactly if this change will impact in some way. But right now, 9 players in the infirmary, a lot of them are starting players. It's a little bit to be concerned of. Vinicius Jr. in less than 2 months already fell twice in injuries. So that is something that is a little bit to look into and to be worried with. We will continue to maintain focus on that also in the squad. But let's talk a little bit about strategy. What is Ancelotti going to do at this point right now? Because now you don't have Tchouaméni and you don't have Camavinga, which both of them are mid-contentions of the squad. What's going to happen most likely is going to be that Toni Kroos is going to probably inherit that position. Now, that leaves Toni Kroos' position a little bit open. What will happen? Now, if we have Bellingham and we have Fede Valverde, we're still missing that little link in the next, on the left-hand side of midfield. That might be Brahim Diaz. That might be Luka Modric. Now, we know that when Luka Modric and Toni Kroos has played together, they're a little bit slower than needed. And this young generations of attackers that comes in and all the rest of the squads have put them in problems every time they play together. Now, that might be a chance for Ancelotti to come in and try to put the duo dinamico together. Or it could be that he's probably giving opportunity to Brahim Diaz, which we know Brahim Diaz has been showing a lot of enthusiasm. He has not gained a lot of money, a lot of trust with Ancelotti, but he's been showing these last couple matches that he deserves to be at least considered. And Ancelotti did promise that he will give him a little bit more participation time. Maybe these injuries are the ones that give him that key for the green light to be part of the squad. Now, there's a big decision. It could be Luka Modric in the midfield and Brahim Diaz for Vinicius Jr. as a striker, or Marcelo as a striker, and Brahim Diaz in the midfielder in junction. So we'll see exactly a little bit about how Ancelotti plays out this game, but it's not looking very positive for Real Madrid at this moment, losing so many players, and we just got to cross our fingers because the FIFA break has not been over. This is just the first match, and we still got a lot of international players playing for the national teams, which still can put them up to risk. And FIFA stoppage has never been favorable for Real Madrid. And Real Madrid also, we have to mention, it's entering to his nightmare month, with his January, which Real Madrid every time historically has been the worst month for them. So having players like Vinicius Jr. without rhythm, Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Ceballos, Al-Lagules, Kepa, you know, we run a big risk. So we'll see exactly what happens. I will probably most likely, after the Vinicius Jr. did MRI, I'll probably do another video in here, but I still wanted to give you guys at least a little bit of the information about what went on. Argentina lost in the national game against Uruguay. It was a really nice game, at least in Uruguayan side. And Colombia actually beat and defeated Brazil. And then, of course, we saw Cristiano Ronaldo score a goal for Portugal and then do actually a bicycle kick. So it's very interesting about exactly at his age, he's still capable of doing things like that. So it's things to watch. International games, always interesting. Not my favorite at this point of the season because we're ramping up in the very critical times for the clubs. And then it comes out to be when national come in, there's a lot of load in the clubs between Champions League, Cup of Kings, the normal cups, the super cups, every cup that you can imagine, every single game that happens. And then extra and additional to that, we get nationals teams time, which changes the whole environment of every player. It changes the turf environment, changes the humid, the temperatures. It changes the rhythm on the train. It changes everything completely for them. So it gives them a little bit of a different mentality set, and that could be a case why so much players actually get injured. It's very sad. I did see another Uruguayan player also actually go off today, crying out of the being carried out of the game. We'll be praying for him also as well, and hopefully that he does his best. But we will keep you informed about this. If you like this content, I know it's not good news. Hit the like button, the subscribe, leave your comment, and I'll see you until next time with Football Con Mamá. Ciao.